The Cavs, a big trade yesterday, and a little bit of a surprise as the Cavs acquired Donovan Mitchell from the Utah Jazz, an all-star. And in the deal, the Cavs give up Lowry, Markkanen, Ochabi, the rookie that they took from Kansas City, Colin Sexton, 3 unprotected first-round picks. They also swap 2 picks, but the Cavs get another young superstar, all-star caliber guard in Donovan Mitchell from the Jazz. Let's welcome in Sam Amico from hoopswire.com. Sam, 1, are you surprised? And 2, what are the Cavs getting in Donovan Mitchell?
First of all, yeah, I was stunned when I saw this news broke. We had heard last week that the Cavaliers had an interest in Mitchell, had engaged with Utah in some talks. Then we heard at the end of the week that they removed themselves from the talks, and that was really the last we heard. And then all of a sudden, all the news was surrounding the Knicks talks with the Jazz, and then, the Knicks signed R.J. Barrett to a contract extension, ending their talks with the Jazz, or at least pausing them. And Kobe Altman from the Cavs just swooped in and started revisiting talks with the Jazz, and pulled off a deal. Surprisingly, I think it was a surprise to everybody, not just the general public and the fans, but probably to the players that got traded and were involved in the trade. So, obviously you went out and Donovan Mitchell got a 3-time All-Star, a guy who is just so dynamic, plays off the ball, can play. He and Darius Garland can share ball handling duties. Both can play off the ball. Mitchell's just a dynamite athlete. And you look at his stats, all across the board, points, rebounds, assists, steals, he does it all. So, they now have, if you look at this, the Cavs now have 3 players who were in the All-Star game last year. When you talk Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen. They have a guy who was a candidate for Rookie of the Year who could be an all-star this next season, in Evan Mobley. And then you have a guy in Karis LeVert who scored 40 points in his final game as an Indiana Pacer. So, they have a ton of firepower. But I think, once Cavs fans regularly see Mitchell, which they probably didn't do a lot while he was in Utah, they're going to be really, really pleased. He's a very dynamic player.
So, again, Adrian Wojnarowski, a respected national basketball writer who kind of broke the news, tweets this out as well. Suddenly, Cavs are a major force in the East. 3-time All-Star Donovan Mitchell, and still 3 years left on his contract. That's important to note. Lineup that includes Garland, Allen, as well as future All-Star Evan Mobley. Sam, is this a win-now move, and what do you think the expectations should be for the Cavs, and what do you think Kobe Altman expects, going out? You gave up a lot, but you got one of the better players in the league.
It's a win now move, but it's also a move for the future. You made this move without impacting your young core, as we just went over with Garland, Allen, and Mobley. Those guys were your big 3. Well, now you have a big 4, and when you do that, you not only expect to, and it's a younger core, so you not only expect to be still around and still contending in the future, but you want to do that right away, and you have the potential to do that right away. They are going to be an Eastern Conference contender right away on paper. They have a good mix, not only of the guys we're mentioning, but they've got some good vets. Once Ricky Rubio gets back, Raul Neto, who they picked up this offseason, is a nice player, Robin Lopez, and then you throw in the guys who are holdovers like Kevin Love. They have a nice mix of guys who are not so dynamic, but are older veterans who have been there before that will help this core along. And when you throw all that together, Dave, on paper, yes, this team is a contender for the Eastern Conference Finals and maybe beyond.